So once more, good evening everyone. Maazi Ezeoke speaking to us. It's the regular midnight show. Today's Friday. I understand you know what today means. That's the usual Friday Hangout. And on these Friday Hangouts, we will, for the first time, dedicate this program to our brothers and our sisters, those in the diaspora. As you all know, this platform has a very large number following from our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And they are the ones that do a lot of things, but the most misunderstood as well. Nigeria as a nation probably would have collapsed entirely if not for the diasporan strength. And you cannot talk about the diasporan community without talking about those I represent within the southern Nigeria. They've got the numbers, they've got the kudi, they've got the ego, they've got the owo, they've got the, and as well, they suffer the most. This evening, I'm going to take us through a journey in understanding our brothers and our sisters in the diaspora, because it is not easy. It is not easy to leave your homeland, in this case Nigeria, and you move to the diaspora, and you deal with culture shock, you deal with racial abuse, you deal with racial discrimination, you deal with weather for those within Europe and America and maybe Canada. You deal with all manner of things. And at the end of the day, all you're doing is to not only make ends meet, but also to make those at home comfortable. And as well, I would want to hear from one or two of you, or many of you in the diaspora who may want to speak this evening. So I wouldn't want to make it so long a broadcast. And as usual, I want to know where you're watching me from. I am Maazi Ezeoke, and already here I have Valentina Nabue, who is watching from Germany. So Valentina, Valentina, I think the Germans will say Valentina. Na, wie geht's dir? So it would be nice to know where you're watching from. You see, the good thing about speaking about all these things is that we learn and we get better insights. We see how we can help each other, how we can improve in our relationships in terms of, as regards our siblings. So let me know where you're watching me from. It appears, what's happened to my YouTube fans? We're going to try this one today. If the music is loud, you tell me. People watching from the United States of America, wow, Augusta will be. We are the dotted people. Can we do one thing? Like, share the stream. Und ich aus Nigeria. Und zwar momentan nicht in Anambra, aber aus Nigeria. Kingsley Charles from the United Kingdom. Godwin Mado Abuchi. Good morning, sir. You're watching from UAE. Very nice. So can we do one thing? Can we please? I'm watching from my palace. Some of you are troublemaker. Osauru, Desmond, Osauru, where your palo there? Your palo there inside the Azar room, or your palo there inside the Zambisa, so that we know if you are among those people that shoot down aeroplane. I love it. So, everyone invites others, especially those of you in the diaspora, because this conversation is about you guys. What I want to talk about today is the diaspora and how they are misunderstood by so many people. What happened? We should be growing. Maureen, MCHK. Thank you very much, Maureen. Somadina Obu, watching from Heidenheim in Germany. Wow, that's good. Heidenheim. Das kenne ich doch. Ich kenne überall in Deutschland. Deutschland ist eigentlich, ich sag euch die Wahrheit. Deutschland ist eigentlich mein zweites, wie nennt man das, zweites Heimat. Wenn ich nicht in Anibo bin, dann bin ich echt, meine Seele ist halt in Deutschland, weil das mir gut tut. Watching from Germany. That's good. You see? So the diasporans are gathering, so invite others. Unless you are a nurse, a doctor, you're going to work early in the morning, then you're pardoned. But if you're not, there is no better thing to do than to be awake and stay with me. So people, I would want some of you at the right time to eventually make a call. Josephat Kennedy says, Maazi Nnamdi said that Buhari is dead, and have you asked yourself why did they refuse to add it to the charges against him? You guys you must be a comedian. So Buhari is dead, and they should add that in the charge. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm laughing, but it's laughable to add such nonsense, to to chat shit that Buhari is dead. I think it's a joke taken too far, Chukuma Ifezo is watching from Kiel. You know what? Kiel was, when I left the four shores of Nigeria, Kiel was the first place I set my foot, aside any African country. I left Lagos with Lufthansa, headed to Kiel because then I got admission at the Christian Albrecht University, actually to study informatica. But finally, said funny, leaving Frankfurt, landed in Frankfurt. Man, me going to study. There's this suit that I made in Lagos, 3-piece. That time, while in Nigeria, while working with NTA, not many of you knew. You see my face in what's it called, on YouTube. You don't know the history behind these faces. See, I've actually worked with Nigerian Television Authority. My boss then was Adiele Onyedibia, the man that transcribed Things Fall Apart into play. Go back and play it, you see Adiele Onyedibia. And alongside, I worked with the legend himself, Sadiq Daba, when we did One Big Family, and also produced by Akboza Akbozo. Many of you watching may know the story I'm talking about. And if you go back and watch most of the Tales by Moonlight, recorded between 1999 and 2000, no, not yet, not now. Anyone calling me is too early, please. I haven't finished laying the background. Someone is already calling me. So if you go back and watch Tales by Moonlight, recorded between 1999 and 2001, you would see my name at the background, because a couple of the script I wrote them. At that time, when your script is accepted by the Nigerian Television Authority headquarters, you're paid 500 naira. So how's it not be today? So we wrote script like that. So sometimes in a week, if you're able to submit 2, 3 scripts, they might take one or take two. So any week you take, they take 2 scripts from you. Man, it's like you don't hammer with that one. You know what it means to just make 1,000. Joseph, I think you're in a fighting spirit this evening. So, as you heard our leader say, please, I won't come that low to talk about whether Buhari is real, dead, or alive. I don't. Sorry, I wouldn't engage you on that. Sorry, please. And you see, when we talk about, there are good people everywhere. Sadiq Daba was one of those men. Actually, Sadiq Daba was one of those men that really, really touched me. When I said someone touching you, teaching you a lot. And the Adeloye Dibe was one of the men, I call him a workaholic. Adeloye Dibe. We would, sometimes I stay back in the office, 8 o'clock at night. People normally leave 4. But sometimes if I don't leave NTA, if I don't leave Victoria Land by 4 o'clock, that is Amadu Bello Way, you have to stay with him. NEPA can take light around 6:30, it's already dark. Man, this guy will put on candle. You see, that time, being a young reporter, being, someone who just left IT from Minaj Obosi and Anambra Broadcasting Service on Nature and moved into Lagos, struggling with the Nollywood industry, and at the same time, getting to know more about production, script writing, editing, blah, blah, blah. And you're working with a legend. The funny thing was at that time, when you come in and see him working, you think, man, this man self, the tire. But I never, one thing it eventually helped me was, initially it was irritating. But at some point, it became okay for me because we lived in Okota. So, in order to miss the traffic, sometimes you stay in that island till 9 o'clock. So the moment you hit the road, you might be surprised that you'll be at the Celeb bus stop by 9:45. 9:45 if you leave around 9, because from that immediately you land. What's it called? Ikbari Costain, Orile. From Orile you enter Sualaba, Maitu, head down to Selegba. That same, if you had left around 5, 6, probably 8 o'clock, you're not even home. That is the madness of Lagos traffic. Mans, you don't eat. No, I never. No. It's. There was no money to be made. Honestly, at that point, there was no money to be made. But again, you learned hard work. That's the point. You learned hard work. Learning from these men, learned hard work. I will share with us a very rare picture. When we were on stage for One Big Family. I don't know anybody who will remember that. Between 2000, 1999, when we had Nigeria 1999, 2000, 2001, we had a One Big Family. It's called One Big Family. Producer was Abuza. I can't forget him. We really did, learned a lot at that point. So quickly, let me see if I can find via my archive. If I can. Oh dear. I don't think. Have I deleted them? No, I can't find it now. Schade, as the Germans would say. But oh yes, sorry, I have. Yeah, I found it. Let me quickly show us this. Let nobody. When I become the president of the dot nation, let nobody bring out this picture. Say this is the man when he was nobody, because obviously the dot nation shall at some point in our lifetime become a reality, and we will have men of integrity to pilot the affairs, whether we go down through the regional structure where we will eventually, um, you know, do things differently. Oh, what's happening? Okay, so now while that picture is loading, I'm just trying to quickly get that picture. While that picture is sent here, okay. While that picture is loading, I'll come back to what the topic of this evening. Hold on, Sadiq. Okay, let me quickly pull this picture just to so that some of you know that we have paid our dues somehow. Just keeping our heads down. Okay, share screen. Let me see if I can get it. No. Oh, I am having a small actually. Where is it? Yes. Okay. So now, when people leave Nigeria, we have this impression that they go to somewhere where it is so easy to make money. What many of us do not know is what our siblings undergo in these countries that they found themselves in. And that will form the basis of my conversation this evening. You will begin to wonder. Sometimes you might see that some of them engaged in some illicit or illegal businesses that sometimes get them into trouble. Ordinarily, you might not see that happening, but most times, because of the kind of push and the challenges and the demands that come from Nigeria here, they begin to do some of these activities that get them into trouble. It will only take someone who is strong-willed not to. It would only take someone. Imagine where you come into a country to study, because it happened to me. Somebody looks at your passport and say, man, your passport allows you to travel to anywhere in Europe, that is Schengen. And by the way, you're a student, nobody will suspect you. Now, at that point, the Germans or the authorities say, as a student, you should have minimum of 500 euros to, as a backup in the account to prove that you have enough fund so that you don't become a burden to the state. And somebody tells you, oh, yeah, Maazi, can you take this bag from this train station? Yeah, Banov, just go to train station, drop it and give it to someone, you'll be given XYZ. Without asking what is inside that bag, but for the fact that somebody makes such an offer to you means there is something that is there, or rather more than meets the eye. Okay, so this is the picture. Sorry, before I continue, this is the picture I was talking about. you know. So you can see here, that is the legend himself, Sadiq Daba, the one on white that you can see. What is it? Is the Can you see the mouse here moving around it? That's Sadiq Daba here, right? This is what's her name again? This is Celestine. This is Philip. This guy is a legend. Philip is a legend. I have never in my life seen a man that can, in one day, write like 3 movies. This guy you see here, I don't know the type of brain he has. You know, see Sadiq Daba here. See, I think he's called Chiner. I can't remember again. But many of you will know she's from. I can't remember again. It's a long time. Then this is the legend Maazi here. This is me. We're on location. This is somewhere in Yaba, Lagos. So we're on location. We have, someone acting police officer. In one of these ones, actually, I acted. I think I acted the Okada rider. I rode the motorbike. You know, so this is a set. And when you look at this set, you think, man, it don't tell. Maybe today, maybe today. So Sadiq Daba, I think he's from Sadiq Daba was from Plateau State. The guy is one of those legends. Sadly he died. He's a very good actor, one of the best directors. He was the director of that. So having said that, people, now my point is as follows. So when you see that people travel abroad, and those at home are there pushing, telling them, buy this, buy the other one, buy this, buy the other one, and we put them under pressure. Now, there are things as well that they are missing at home. They miss that love, that touch. Many of you will not understand if you haven't lived abroad, that suddenly, because that person is new, especially if you go to a country where they do not speak English. Even when you go to countries that speak English, you think you hear him. It will be like somebody I know who is in America and he got a job at the McDonald's. When at the counter, he's a graduate, or sorry, he was a graduate, but at the counter, and all these Ajibo American, they will come in and say, I'm on one cheeseburger, and the lady will say, what? Pardon? And they'll go again, one cheeseburger, one Big Mac, one Big The lady who grew up in Nigeria thinking she understood English, at some point, Q go come there for her own line. She will disappear, go inside toilet. Go inside toilet, go ease up. Because at some point, he thought you understood English. But when they begin flow like that, man, suddenly an extrovert will become a deaf and dumb. Now, if someone is in Italy, in Germany, in Austria, anywhere, it takes about 2 years, 2 freaking years for you to understand, begin to even speak broken language. Some of us, the cases were different because we came in as students. When you come in as students, at least you have a basic foundation and a basic linguistic structure. At least you know the formation of the language. You know the basic grammatical formation which are the basis of building up on the language. You can begin to do much better. But those who didn't take that route, those on a hustling route, will come in. They find it more difficult. Now, at that point, they have 2 main problems. One is to get paper. 2 is to make sure maybe if either they've sold land in the village or where their papa has a land, or they borrowed money, or they used their inheritance land as a collateral. So somebody is in anywhere he or she is, brain they do like popcorn. We are not even counting on those, especially from our Midwestern cousins who come in to through Madame for Ikwo to eventually pay the exorbitant prices. So, if you have the misfortune of going to these countries that do not speak English, hmm, man, your wahala no go be here. And again, if you are watching now and you are in Nigeria, and somebody will bring a map and tell you, this is Libya, this is Greece, this is this. Just be drawing it like as if you're going from one street to the other. Run, no. Run for your life. I'm telling you honestly. I'm happy that I didn't fall into that trap, because at some point when we went to Goethe Institute in Lagos, to do the elementary Grundstufe 1, as some of you understand German, to learn the basic German. There was one man that came down from Italy. We're just saying, nah, don't worry. If you bring 280,000 that time, we'll buy ticket. We'll just, the way he was drawing the thing as if, wallahi, as if it was like going from Badagry, Lagos, and to Cotonou. It's only now that when you go back and look, you find out that if you had entered that journey, two things will happen. It's either you die, and the chances are very, very high that you're going to die on the road, or you basically get, abused. If you're a woman, you can imagine what happens to them. If you're a man, sometimes sodomized, But the challenge is that many times our brothers go through these things. They somehow feel ashamed of telling their stories. And because they do not tell their stories, the younger ones would keep thinking it is, life is so easy. You see, there's someone has just left. The day he will come, he will go pierce ears like this, pierce ears, do all those things. They will go, what they call in sorry, in Germany that time, we devised a means of calling them angeboats. Angeboats is cells. So we call them hanging boats, hangeboats, with H, just jokingly. And I think one of my good friend Chris, if Chris is watching now, he will he will be laughing his head off. So someone goes in there, buys these things on sales, things you ordinarily wouldn't afford. I mean, it's not that you're poor, but again, why would you waste money? Things you would ordinarily wouldn't afford. And when they come home, because they have not been exposed to sunlight, their bodies will be moro, will be so shiny and flashy. You think that person, I tell you, in as much as food is cheap, at least for the first time, I think this must have happened to everybody. You found out that a chicken, you can actually buy a whole chicken with €2.50. Man, it's a God punish poverty. You just go and buy one chicken, cook am, fry am, lock door, do chips with ketchup. Less than €5. Do justice to it. That's a way to survive. But the challenges that they face now comes, what's it called? Paper. Some of them, you take asylum, some deny Nigeria. Sometimes I tell you, the Western world, especially Europeans, they are really, really kind-hearted when it comes to the issues of asylum. Imagine somebody comes in and tells you he's from Sierra Leone, because I'm telling you those times that Sierra Leone was engulfed in crisis. They are from Liberia. And obviously, if you say you're from Sierra Leone, you're from Liberia, but over the time, if they track your number, you've never called Sierra Leone for one day, but you've been calling Nigeria because that's where things happen. That's where your mom, dad, siblings, everyone, friends are. So you keep calling that place. They know it, but because there is no evidence, sometimes they take you to the Nigerian embassy rejects. So when the asylum is on the process, the only option becomes you have to marry an European. Therein lies the second problem. Suddenly, you've told a lie. Even I know a friend who told a German girl that she was an American. Um, you get as the lie be. So it's like one lie leads to another. Ola Rewaju says, so tear their passport or burn it just not to be able to identify with Nigeria. No. It doesn't matter. You can tear your passport, but when you go to Liberia or Sierra Leone to get their own, when because before, even if they want to give you Doden, the thing is what they call, if they want to, either they want to ship you back, or before they deport you, there must be something and a form of identification. And once they begin to look into seeing how can they find where your route is, I've had someone. He was asked, "How did you come into Germany?" He said, "No." He was sleeping in the balcony. He woke up. He found himself in a sheet. They go to him with um, the good thing with the white sometimes is, in whatever you say, no matter how stupid it is, they'll look at you. Some of them will say, ja, ja, du bist auf dem Balken da hast du geschlafen, dann plötzlich bist du hierher gekommen. Ja, nah. But, he doubts it. He has no option. He has to write it down. So everything is written down. Every single thing is written down. Every single statement you make is written down. You get to marriage. Do you know how many people that have eventually been deported? Because at some point, some people, once they get someone to marry them, they will now truth will begin to come out small. Maybe when the girl begin press. One thing is, once love is involved, and you see some of them, our wives, our European wives, most of them are very, very good. I'm telling you honestly, because you from Nigeria started from a point of deceit and lie. They found out, they forgave you, accepted you, stood by you, now started fighting for you. There was a time those European countries would tell them, now leave this person. He's just only there for papier, whatever. Just let them go home. Some of you are just, when you even say disclaimer, Igbos do not engage in such activity. The sins being confessed are unique to Njenje only. uh, uh, oh dear. It's because I'm a writer, I am a producer, I'm many things in one, therefore I'm still getting to something. Because at the end of the day, let's talk the topic this evening is, let's talk about our siblings in the diaspora. Eventually, how can we help them? Because those of them in Nigeria must help the siblings in the diaspora. We must help them. And I'll come to a point of how we will help them. So why I'm saying this is you do not understand what they are going through while they are out there. It gets to a point, your brother, your sister in the diaspora goes through all this. Some of them, some of them, because of what is happening back home, because of what they are undergoing in the country that they were, some of them at some point, some just want to end it all, just mentally. That person thinks, geez, from one disappointment to the other. For the male, at some point, it became that the only way to get the paper is having a child. The other, what the Germans call Vaterschaft, it will be to claim a newborn baby, and before they eventually knew and started using DNA test as a basis. But before there was a time there was no, you don't need any DNA test, or you just to say this baby belongs to me. You know, you get assigned, and you take responsibilities. But the final point here is once they stabilize and get this paper, either way they get it, they start working. Nigerians are hard workers, very, very hard workers. You know, Europeans or even Americans, because they are at home, they don't necessarily have these type of pressures we do have from home. So we tend to work harder in most cases than them. That's why you see in America, for instance, you see the largest population with at least a first degree and a second degree, which is master's degree, are Nigerians. Because when you look at the ladder in employment, there are things that count. You might see your boss, he only has maybe A level or college degree, but he's climbing because years of experience. Now, because your adulthood, you're coming from the middle, but where you ought to be is at that top. Now, the only way you could come close to someone who probably has 10 years, 15 years experience, your experience from Africa, sorry, not necessarily counting. So the only way sometimes you can come at that top is through the back door, and the back door is now through education. It's not that this, that we go to, we travel, we study this, study that. Sometimes it's not no because we want study. No. It's just because we want to find a way to enter the system. And you find a loophole. That loophole is their citizens are not willing to sit down, read, write, cram. No. But we were born in and raised up in recession. Therefore, it's part of us already. So we begin to do, these things, and we play catch up. Now we are playing catch up, and we caught up with it. And we are now a little bit, they in the diaspora now a little bit relaxed, trying to do one or two things, and they start sending money home. People, money does not grow on trees in America, France, Germany, UK, Italy, anywhere. Every single dime they earned, they worked for it. There are these confessions people do make when they visit for the first time. I remember one time one of my brothers visited. I mean, he visited, but he's my brother, but I never had to stay with him because in the morning before he even wakes up, I'm already off. Before, when I come back, probably he will be asleep. Someone who came in. So the only time you could actually sit down with him is only like weekend. And he, eventually made a confession and said, wow, if Nigerians at home are working half as hard as those in the diaspora, that place will be transformed. And that is true. Go to any local government you know today. All you will see is you bring in a form. The way the woman that will carry that form will just be drop the form like this. And no one is serious. You install computers, Outlook, so that if you send email, Maazi Ezeoke at Federal Ministry of Finance.ng, install email, they will discard email. They want memo, the one they will write on top with the red pen, say, minuted, date, please, action. You come in and say, hey, okay, your file is here. You see them filing. We're still in the archaic time. In the private sector, yes, people do work hard, but I can tell you in the public sector, they are a bunch of lazy asses. Sorry, but they're not working serious. They're not serious at all. And what do? We begin to bother those in the diaspora. Do this, do this. Then they eke out, through their little amount of money they have, buy a small car, send it. Do you know that some of us in Nigeria will sell those cars, buy the money? There was one that happened in Benin. Somebody's been sending money for someone to build a house. And this house was not built. And you've been going to another person's properties, snapping pictures, sending to the guy in Italy. So what do you expect when he comes back? Where is your morality? Where is, how can you be so heartless you don't want to? I mean, you just dye his things, or do you think he would ever die there? He will never come back. Sometimes when you speak with people in the diaspora and you hear stories of what their brothers and their siblings do to them, sometimes one told me a story of someone calling, oh, their house is leaking. This is, the way he's saying it, Mama, when rain falls, Mama is this, is the other one, please, it has to be done now. And because of that rain now, Mama is in the Federal Medical Center. Please, they need money. The guy was working like a machine. He does his 8 hours job. He does his Reinigen job. Cleaning job. He does his early morning job again, just to make ends meet, because he does not want to involve in fast lane. And in all these things, that individual sends money home. Yes, Onyenimo says something like same thing happens to those in Lagos sending money back home without regular visits. Well, that's Lagos. I mean, that one you could take an every night. But those in the diaspora, do you know that someone living in the diaspora wanting to come home every year, the money you would spend in coming home every year, if you just send that money, your ticket, your expenditure in Nigeria, if you send it for 5 years, you'll build a house in Nigeria. It will build you at least a 4-bed house in Nigeria, a bungalow. It will. But people don't even appreciate those who also want to come home regularly, who, when they come, they contribute a lot to the local environment. Hence, someone like me, understanding that, that's the reason why I clamor for Enugu to open up, so that when people from the diaspora come in, they come in with that fund, they spend that fund locally. Because once these funds keep coming, it creates more job for the locals. Part of the reason I was against the madness, I repeat, the madness, when the issue of unknown gunmen started, was you can't, I don't care who was behind it, none of my business. I don't necessarily care. But irrespective of who was it behind it, all I wanted is, please, we should stop. Or they should stop because we needed a place like Owerri. If there is no nightlife in Owerri, hunger will destroy many lives and will lead them into things that may be unimaginable. Therefore, there are countries that depend on remittances, like Nigeria as well, and also the revenue from tourism. And if you want to keep getting revenue from your diaspora community, you need to make the place that they come and spend that money secure. Because if that money is, if the place you they come and spend that money is not secure, even those in Lagos like Abuja that will come and spend big money, everybody will run away. Which, to my happiness, part of what I believe the events that happened in our last weekend did was to say, okay, the Southeast again is safe, and we are now back on and back on track, open for business. So please come back home. I hope I'm I hope I'm making sense. So at the end of the day, there are a couple of things we can do for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. One is, let's communicate more with them. When I say let's communicate more with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, I'll give us these examples. It is truism that people in Nigeria always think, oh, it's cheaper for them to call us until they call us. You flash somebody, he calls you. You flash somebody. Now. Uh-uh. I was telling somebody the other day, do you know what you in Nigeria can do? Now there is WhatsApp. You can even get a phone 15,000 that can do WhatsApp. Please, all of you watching me from Nigeria, all of you that will watch this broadcast later, that you are from Nigeria, do your sibling, your brother, your sister the favor. Stop requesting for money. Anytime your brother sees your call, let their mind not go, okay, Chuku, or Onye Nimo is calling me now just because he needs money. No. Have conversations. Because when you have conversations with your siblings, they will freely, even sometimes when you don't ask, give you money. How many times have you just called your brother? Okay, Chuku, Keki man. Nah, man, I say make I know how on they do now. How is that Texas? I had the weather they do this thing. Even if it's not cold, you know how do they do voice note? Press them, hold it. You can do that with the data. You have all this weekend free data. You can just hold it, speak to them. When you go to the village, hold it. Say, Mama, greet Adewale. It's enough. These are psychological, and it shows you're human. You actually care about your sibling. That you're not only interested 3 months, 6 months, 1 year you haven't called your siblings. The day he will see your call, his heart will jump out first because he sees your call. You can only call him when, brother, please, hey, mama just has a malaria now. Please, we need some money. We are taking on the ping. You cut it because you don't want it to pass 59 seconds. Which human being does that? Where is your heart? What stops you? You see, many people in the diaspora would understand this. You don't need to. Animo says, I should take time. I get money. No, we count our money. Retract that example. Okay, I retract the example. I don't use any anymore. I use because it matters. Okay, I use a fan. Oh, you're a very troublesome person. Anyway, but I mean, I hope you get the gist. I'm just telling us ways we can improve on communications. Show that we care. Hmm? Show that we care. It does not, because sometimes when I speak to them, it sometimes breaks my heart because they only see, there's this popular saying, who never travel, no, travel and see. If you never, who no go, no go, no, who no go, who no go, no go, no, because you will be at home thinking, Bolanle, Bolanle, no, they call me since Bolanle travel. If Bolanle tell you wetin eye they see, if Bolanle tell you wetin eye they see, you go pity. But again, Bolanle is busy. If Ifeanyi tells you what he sees in Scotland, cold, in the very first year as a student I was actually praying, I pray for snow to fall so that I can make some money, go shops snow. The amount of plate one has washed in his life those days, if I begin pack 'em, for container, wallahi, Obi Kubana no go see my hand, my back for container importation. I'm telling you. There was a time we go on snow packing. My hand literally was like this. It cannot bend like this. So till I leave shovel, leave glove with the glove for work, leave up, run, leave money, leave glove, leave shovel, run, because my life first. And I stayed there 5 minutes more. Una for that time una for the hear trust and doorbell, for there is no other way to be happy. That would have been end of story, end of discussion. I'm telling you. So people have, you know, challenges that every month, electricity bill, they know they talk to anybody. If from those who don't have their own house, that live in rented apartments, the landlord will just install prepared meter. You on the light, it's your money. He finishes, you stay in your house in darkness. Your fridge goes off. Even this COVID hit a lot of people, but rather now those at home to also show concern. And another thing is, most times, buy the heart of your brothers, your sisters in the diaspora. If you know that Okechukwu or Kunle or Musa came back home and Musa, Okechukwu, or whoever knows your brother, buy small egusi, buy fish, crayfish, or whatever. It doesn't matter. 2,000, 3,000, buy. Say, give to my brother. But una dey buy, make una no put any implicate, or make una no put Igbo or anything will go implicate the person wey una dey give. Genuinely, buy something out of concern. Ask your brother in the diaspora, is there anything we can be sending to make, at least even if you didn't make small money? Is there anything? Life is not only about giving, 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 giving. They find it too difficult. You in Nigeria, you drive your car, the car he bought. Apart from petrol, there is nothing else. But he cannot. He has to pay road tax. He has to pay his insurance monthly. The day he stops paying his road tax, you have to remove it from the DVLA. If he doesn't, Government will come, take his car. He will be, if he lives in a block of flats, then where to even park the car becomes an issue. It's not like in Nigeria, you can just come back car, dump it anywhere, who cares? That's why people probably here in Nigeria drive so many cars, because you don't pay any tax. But there, if you like, you go buy V8 now. They know they take them out. They tell somebody when to come out for hot sun. And your pocket go tell you the truth. Now your pocket. So they undergo all these mental challenges. They go to work. The moment they walk into the office, this color, Roboranta Rabashinti Baba Kawasaki Yama, this color would give them out. They open their mouth, no matter how you bend the mouth, whether not for German, English, Italo, whatever, you open the mouth, they will say, oh, they're no born I'm here. And the moment, somebody has prejudice because of your color, your accent, your anything, it begins to look and begin to find holes in whatever you do. You see someone, some people do sometimes break down. Me, those days, there was a day I cried, I broke, I said, I they learn somebody language, I they do Ishabe. One day I said, man, but I have the language. Why am I learning another man's language for Christ's sake? Mentally you just break down. Why am I learning? Is that questioning myself? But the good thing is in that question, you begin what I call self-discovery. And when you discover yourself, that's when you begin to be proud of who you are unapologetically. So when I say that I am an unapologetically Onyibo, many people will not understand. It's part of the things you've undergone that you think, okay, now I wrote this exam, passed it, just to prove to them that I'm not an idiot, but this is who I am. And I cannot trade that identity of who I am, a very dotted human being, to anything on earth. I can't. Yes, I'm a world citizen. I travel all over the world. I work in many cities in the world, but this is who you are. So, my people, let's help our brothers. Say Uber they rain in the West now. So who they buy car or pay as you go rental or electric bicycle? No, of course you can't use Uber everywhere. Now, if you use Uber everywhere, it will be too expensive. How can you say that? You can't use Uber now. I can't make it, Maazi, but you blew my mind because you really know German in and out. How a language I studied with at the university, wrote exams, did German Geschichte, did German Deutsche Recht, as what's it called? German constitutional law. I mean, you should know the language. If not, you wouldn't pass the exam because during our time, all you need to do is just when you write your exam, you put your number. Nobody knows, so the teacher picks it up. He doesn't care. Your sentence formulation is that German, is that he blotted down. It doesn't concern anybody. So either you pass it or you fail it. So you have to buckle up. So what I'm saying is, these are things that over the years, experiences that will make you who you are. But in final analysis, and I would want one or two of you, if you have anything to share, and if you have something to tell our brothers and our sisters at home as well that are listening to us now, you may, if you so wish, because it's a Friday hangout, you know what we do here on Hangout, we speak to one another, we share ideas, and we talk about things that affect all of us. So at this point, if you so wish, you can call in, especially those of you in the diaspora, and share your experiences also with those at home. those that I'm not okay. I don't want it to sound this way that appears I'm only knocking down or I'm only knocking those here. But what I'm trying to do is to also is to explain to us those in Nigeria that we should take it easy on our siblings who are in the diaspora, that they are running two families. Imagine your sibling has a wife, a German, Italian, English, American, whatever wife, even a Nigerian wife, even a Nigerian. He or she is running two households. An American, a German, or an English, or whatever cannot even run one because their own is one. They don't need to send any money to their mother. If their mother is in rent, in pension, or is too old that has health challenges, they go to Altenheim, old people's home. So they owe them the only to go visit them. But not like in ours, because there is no insurance. Our parents paid no single pension pots. So we are their physician, we are their insurance cover. So in all these things, they run their families at home and at the same time running the families in the ancestral home. That's double tragedy. And that is the testimony of almost everyone who is in the diaspora. You know, imagine your brother now has been in Europe for 20, 30 years. He hasn't built a house in your community. How would you, watching me now, how would you classify him? And that is what leads to so many of them um, first building a house in the village as opposed to securing where they live. Because I am one person who would advise you against doing that, because we say Ebonyi Bikon are watching that place where, for me, wherever you spend over 300 days in a year, that's where you should take proper care of until the situation changes. If you're watching me and you are in Lagos, and you know you are going to be in Lagos for a very long time, and in a year you spend about 300, 320 days in Lagos, please get yourself a comfortable accommodation. The same thing applies if you're in New York or you're Germany, if you don't bloody care where. That's where you need to take real care of yourself. Let me take some comments why, if anybody wants to call. So let's see. Akeme Ikechukwu says, Maazi, wohnst du noch in Deutschland oder Ausland? Ich bin hier zu Hause, ich bin nicht mehr in Deutschland, ich besuche Deutschland ab und zu. Ne? Vor Covid war ich immer fast jeder 2 Wochen in Deutschland, aber jetzt nicht mehr. Aufgrund dieses Scheißigkeit. This Covid. Ne? Okay. Celestine Obasu says, man, it is not easy here, man. I feel you. I'm yet to meet an Igbo person in Jeddah. Oh, wow, brother. So you follow them, they wear Arab money. Saudi. Saw one Hausa taximan here who doesn't have English. Who doesn't have English though? If you know anyone, connect. Oh, there, I pity. See, what you said now, it just touched me. So I can understand. I can understand because it's only when it's really a pity that at home we bicker too much about Hausa, Fulani, Igala, Yoruba, Igbo, blah, blah, blah. But when you find yourself in the four shores of outside the country, suddenly the whole thing changes. I've told many times how eventually, like when we were in Belgium, how we, you know, our place of origin never didn't matter. One of my good friend, Dr. Olumide, who is now a very senior dental surgeon in Belgium, when he came to do his masters in Germany that time, he came in from the admission office. He asked them if they ever knew any Nigerian. Obviously, then everybody knew now. There is nowhere I would go that people would know that I ever visited. So, of course, everybody in the admission office knew because that time I was, helping people to just get admission. So everyone knew admission office. If new students came, they just referred them to, this guy, Olumide, I didn't know, just called me. I looked at the number, said, are you Tochukwu? I said, yes. How can I help? Said he's Olumide, he's from UCH Ibadan. Doctor come to do this. Blah. From that phone call, I told him the boys to enter, came to the hostel, slept in my room. He said that's the best egusi soup he has ever eaten. Maybe he has eaten better now, but I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is at that point, what mattered was we had one connectivity. We came from the same place, quote unquote. And he was in need of someone because, listen, he just came from Nigeria that day. He was just looking at people, everything like he felt like people were walking upside down. He didn't have the privilege of knowing German. And Germans are so terrible at this, apart from the new generation now, and some of them that lived in the border of Netherlands and Denmark, because Netherlands and Denmark, they have TV channels that's pure English all the time. So children, while watching Sing, watching all these things, they pick English. But the core Germans, nah. Sprich to English. Nah. Do you speak? You just as a newcomer, they say, Spreken English. It's a Spreken English. They run away. But the bottom line is you became, kind of cool with it. So people, over 100 people watching me this evening, the topic probably not interesting to some of you. It's not politics. But only 33 people just giving it a thumbs up. Does it mean that all of you do not like the topic or that what's happening? Let's make it more interactive, people. It's night time. 15 minutes more. It's gonna be, midnight. Okay. Oh dear. Let me take my comments. Some of the comments are. Germans are cold. Yes, German. I put it this way. Germans are cold when they don't know you. Germans. It's the same thing with the British as well. The British are cold when they don't know you. But when you get to know them and you became kumpel and became like mates, now you go to run because at that point it can be unstoppable. But I tell you one secret. If you're new, be careful what you discuss with them because they're not like us. There are things you may discuss that might not be legal. I'll give us an example. If you can take a pint or two and still feel comfortable and drive, not like drinking one carton of beer. Now, on no account should you, with a normal British person, you drink 2 pints and you want to let them, you came with your car, you want to go home because you never know what's going to happen. An Indian colleague of mine, an Indian British colleague of mine, taught me that lesson because we're on a living dude of a colleague who was leaving the company, and we're just drinking. I came with my car. We obviously had 1 pint. The way they do, You say, okay, who wants to drink? You say, okay, I want Pilsner. This one say, I want this, I want the other one. You go and buy for everybody. So the trick is that the next round, the other person will go and buy. So is also like, okay, I have gone to buy my own drink 3 times, but that's the way they roll. Now, so he asked me if I was going to drive. I said, yeah, it's fine. My car is just right there. He tapped me, but at that point, the drink don't they enter small. I didn't catch it. So on Monday, that what happened on a Saturday. No, sorry, on a Friday night. On Monday, he came to the office. Um, he tapped, he came to my desk and said, mate, that Friday, it wasn't. He felt sorry for asking that question, but I shouldn't. I should be very careful next time. Even if I was going to drive, I could just tell them I'm going to take a taxi. See where I'm coming from, because you never know, you'll be leaving somebody else. I don't know whether I will call this out of jealousy or out of trying to follow too much law. You know, oh man. Justin Ekeka said, did you know Killer Voka? What do you mean, did I know Killer Voka? Jesus, Killer Voka happens in July. I was in Killer Voka 3 years ago, actually. I mean, I don't know if you're in Kiel, but you should. I know a lot of people in Kiel. You should know Sammy, Emi, Chinedu Ezanawa, Sammy, I think. I know a couple of people in Kiel. Killer Voka. I had actually played Ogene, the first black person, the first Igbo person that played Ogene in Killer Voka is me. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you. We don't do things, Bagashi everywhere waiting. Njenje, I'm sure you drank 2 heroes. No, it's not. It's not heroes. It's can't remember. Not Pilsner. What's that again? Is it Peroni or pepperoni? I think it's Peroni. All these Italian nonsense. Hmm? If it's Nigeria now, who cares? Haba. We know how we roll. Man, make una come. Nigeria is sweet. Oh. Hmm? You see, as you day now, after now you come out. If you don't want sleep, you just go down. You go down to the lounge now. You could hear Sadebe they play live. It increase your BP. If your BP was somewhere here before, when you could hear your Sadebe, they do all these chilled woody stuff. The BP could dance like this. Titin, titin, titin. The BP could they do like this. It could they come down. It could they come down. Small, 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 small. Yeah, that's what they do. So there is a reason why we dedicate every Friday for a hangout. It's an informal discussion. After discussion, if you want to call to make contributions, you're free to do so. But if not, I can keep taking the comments and keep the comments coming. So, Akeme Ikechukwu says, thank you. Or Laruwaju says, I believe everybody is cold, but bros, alone will make you start a conversation. Yeah, the thing is, the British actually, I don't know why. Maybe it's human nature, but some of us found it a little bit irritating. You have a conversation with someone. He says, like the Germans, we know it. There is a sequence. Means you start a conversation with somebody, especially the little elderly or the middle. Yeah. You say, hello, how are you? What's your name? navigates there. Sense, trying to be formal. We talk, say, my name is blah, blah, blah. Stop. The question that would come from a German 99.9% is, woher kommen Sie? Where do you come from? Once you hear that question, what it means invariably is, you're not part of us. I had an already made answer. That the one that threw them off, because at some point, in as much as you can speak their language, but it starts irritating. They ask me, where are you coming from? I say, yes, I come from Kiel. What? Ja, ich bin ein Kieler. Yeah, here. Heimat is here. This is my home. They'll be confused. So if they want to be polite to you, they'll then ask you, okay, no, that's not what I mean. Where does your parents come from? That's that's when you want to, they really want to tell you that this is what they're after. You still tell them of skill. Yeah, but yeah, Afghanistan. So how come? At that point, you've scattered their head. You scattered their head. I tell you. Chiamaka said that they make you. He got to come home. He got to come home. I tell everybody in the diaspora, let me tell you one thing. There is a secret to getting attached, reconnecting to home. The moment you get settled in the diaspora, try as much as possible to visit home once a year. Once a year. There is a secret to it. It's not a must that you must come Christmas because the expenditure could be so hard on you. But the lowest season for airfares are between end of January and till end of February. You can fly. I remember there was a time we used to fly to Nigeria for 285 euros or pounds, even like 320 pounds, even. You can. That time, that low season. Because especially if your parents are still alive, and I tell us this, I'm telling you this as someone who has lost both parents. Try as much as possible. Your siblings, they are your brothers or your sisters. You relate. You owe them nothing, absolute nothing, unless where there is a different case, they did a lot, sent you out, blah blah blah. But if not, the only people you owe every single point of their happiness are your parents until they die. Make a difference. Whatever it takes to make them happy. Watching me, I've finished telling the Nigerians, people in Nigeria, to leave you guys alone, but you must. Your parents. I would delete you and block you if you're not calling your mom or your dad. Don't even argue with them. When it comes to your mom or your dad, be the fool. It's only when you lose your parents. In my own case, actually, I have nothing to regret because before my dad died, I ensured he was happy. Not only that he was happy, everything that, one could afford that was required was given. So, he at the point of death, in as much as I've lost him, but I was happy, because I couldn't, as I am now, I can't say, I wish I did this for my dad. There is nothing that I thought I could have done that I didn't do. So there was no regrets, but I don't want you to be Oh man, I could have done this for my mom. I could have done this for my dad. Whatever you could do. Because your brother, your sister can go hustle, man. If people in Nigeria hustle half of what the people in the diaspora do, man, they for hammer. I remember when we look, do you know this early 300 Anyazo? This early 300 1992 to 90, no, 92 to 96. Those ones used by Bakassi boys that time. Those ones used by Bakassi boys, you know. There was a time we used to hunt this like you're hunting fish. Auto trader, no, catch nature auto trader was a Auto Scout 24. Is it Billy? Automac DE, blah, blah. No, there were so many sites just hunting this. Now, you go and scatter V-boot, you know, scatter V-boot, P-system. You want to load the engine and spare parts. You go and load them into this car. You alone or one person. And that's the one that makes me mad, you know, because you want to save money. Only you go load L300, only you. Obviously, Schlagwerk, the garage where you pieces the car will help you with their manual crane to put the engine, but every other part you must arrange them yourself, everything in there. Only you did it. Now the car gets to Nigeria. Your brother will put hand in the pocket, put in the bill. We use 16,000 to offload the car. You dey look am. You dey look yourself. You dey look the bill. You dey look yourself. You ask yourself now. So this thing I did for myself. Is it that my brother is not man enough to get people to get these things down? Why must he go and pay somebody, you know? That mentality of saving, because it's this big manism, quote unquote. They wouldn't, because what you see, they haven't. Onoazu, yes, Onoazu. What's the meaning of LMBO, please? You know, I'm too old. Njenje, you suffer like us, so ha. Forget the Ajibo face. This is on now when air condition begin blow man. See, it's good. It's good sometimes to tell life history so that those watching from behind, because people will look. Everybody hears in Njenje Media and Njenje Media think it's something that started today. If you go and see the history of Njenje Media, the Njenje Media YouTube channel you're looking at now was created when I was writing a dissertation in 2006. Go, these things, I think it's June, either May or June. But go to Njenje Media, you go to the page, you see it. You see, these things cannot be changed. It's there. 2006, you know what's 2006? But then, obviously, one wasn't showing faces, you know, but when you have a vision, it might take time to come. I'm saying this now, maybe also to some of you who send me messages that they want to start up YouTube channel. You know, sometimes I come back to you, you know, guiding you what you can do, but do not think and do not relent that, oh, if you start immediately, you get 1,000 views or whatever. Consistency matters. You think I'm jobless or whatever, but once you start doing something consistently over time, go and watch the Cubana of now. Even like what I said the other day, the Cubana grill I was in 2008. I flying to Nigeria at that time, you know, come and stay with my cousin. At the end of the night, you know, in the evening, he takes me there. The Cubana chief priest, they call him celebrity barman. Now, he was a griller, you know, when I also. You sit down, he say, I want fish. He say, fish is how much? Two bottles of Heineken. He will be walking around. But that time, like a small manager. So, oh, okay. James laughing my butt. See, I'm too old to understand all these abbreviations. I live in the same city with Doc Olumide. Ah, you know Olumide. Tell him that Maazi Ezeoke talked about him. Dr. Olumide is in Belgium now. Dr. Olumide, greet him for me. We're still friends, but I haven't spoken to him for since COVID. But we're still friends. We exchange messages sometimes on Facebook. Hmm. My regards to Dr. Olumide, okay? Yeah, Justin Ekeka. I worked with Mike Ihagwaram. Mike Ihagwaram now is in Berlin. Mike Ihagwaram is my colleague. We came to Germany that time. He was studying medicine. I started studying informatica after one semester. Man, the mathematics pursue me komoto, and where they will be talking about x and y axis. What I got to hear for German now? Wenn es for x gilt, gilt it for upsilon. Punkt, punkt, punkt. Say I'm now waiting. Now so I go take that. Before I go look waiting gelten, guilt, past participle, this, that, turn on the grammar in my head. They are on another topic. You are lacking behind. And because you studied in another man's language, man, I don't suffer for this word. Before you finish the translation in your head, so we do what they call forelesing and nachlesing. That is, you study before you come into the class. They pay attention, they take note. Then after the class, you will now go and translate what you heard and what you wrote down to even before you make your own note. Because bear in mind, at that point, you're not thinking in German. You're still thinking in Igbo, not even English. You're still thinking in Igbo because that's the safe bet. That's that's your place of refuge. Hmm? That's your place of refuge. I am still. Justin Ekeke says, but you looked young, man. Of course, I'm still young. Just that I started hustling in life very, very early. I'm still young, you know. I'm still very young, obviously. Mm. Um, Akeme Ikechukwu, you're laughing. Okay, people. Name it, and I have done it to save money. Even dig up septic tank to clear blockage. James, if people listen, if you anybody, I want if you can call in and talk about the things because now we must say these things to the hearing of our brothers and sisters at home to know that it is not bed of roses. They must know these things so that when they come in, if at all, if it hurts me when people say they are willing to pay 1 million, 1.5 million to go abroad. Guy, if you calm down, invest 1 million, 1.5 million. You don't need to. You don't need to. That can start you a lot of things. It can start you some poultry farm. It can start you even farming at all. That can get you enough. Even plant yam in water, even cucumber. There is a lot that can happen. I'm telling you. Because, bear in mind, if you ever leave the four shores of Nigeria and you travel to non-English speaking country, believe me, you will lose at least 2 years. Not by your own choice. You'll be like somebody wallowing in the wilderness. You lose at least 2 years. Even if you want to go and study, as long as it's not an English speaking country, you lose at least 12 to 18 months learning the language, which is the core and the basis, and which determines how bright your future could be. If you do not speak the language of your host and master the language of your host, it affects your success. It limits your ability. Because you open up, one thing is, money speaks. It is easy for someone who comes from Nigeria with maybe 100,000 euros or dollars or pounds or whatever to buy goods. Who cares? But as long as you are there, you do not have that money to buy goods. So you need to work. And the work is about communication. I remember one time, during end of semester, we go for what they call semester work. They only come and pick students, especially many of us from Middle East and Africa. Why? We are one of them was when we worked for Motorola. Hello, Motorola in Flensburg. Again at the border of Germany and Denmark as well. And the only reason why we were being paid, even as opposed to people that have already German passports, was because we could read instructions. Because they have faith that these are students. You cannot be a student in German if you do not pass what they call PNDF. Prüfung zu nachweisen deutsche Sprache, I think. Something like that, An exam to say that you can now understand scientific German in order to study in the university or something like that. Yeah. So you now go and work for Motorola, work nights. Oh, man. I wish many in Nigeria would honestly wake up. Ignore the madness done by the APC and Buhari. Work hard. You will see result. I'm telling you. Work hard. You will see result. Just that dedication. Just move away. Wake up. Be aggressive in pursuit. Just keep your hands straight. Whatever you're pursuing, be aggressive and put some dedications. That which you're doing, master it. Someone looks, yeah, Maazi is talking now. Maazi does it, blah, blah, blah. But when studied in Nigeria, many of you don't know. In what's it called? Minaj Obose, I think Minaj is closed now. We worked there with one girl that time. Well, I wouldn't say a lady that time called Linda. They do this youth program. Why won't they look that girl that lady that time? They speak. We gotta go there, rehearse. From there, run, go ABS, and it go do reportage, do this thing with John Bosco, with Edochie, with what's it called? This guy, Gabe Perez. With Okwanyon. Man. So Chris says, Chris, is that Chris Madubike? Toll zum ersten Mal live dabei zu sein. Herzlich willkommen. In Germany, you take exam to wash dish self. There is one thing. Sorry. Wine is my cure. When you have catarrh, just make sure you order the one from Enugu. Keep drinking it. It cures it. It is also antibiotic. No, Nigeria don't spoil. Nothing can work there again. The government have forget. Brother, you're not telling yourself the truth. Hard work, dedication, Keep your hands clean. Kill no one. Scam no one. I'm telling you. See, there is basic principles and the laws that govern the universe. Doesn't matter if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, if you're traditionalist, Godon religion, whatever you are, these are basic human principles. Your religion makes no difference. You don't need to even, if you don't want to believe in anything created this earth or anything, it's your own right. By the way, none of us knows what's going to happen. You might get to the other side and say, now wow, nothing dead here. So if I don't do all the bad things, I just miss that's by the way. No be today. Please forget complain. Listen, today is solution. Forget complain. Watching from Netherlands, that's Duchess Chinyere. Chinyere, where in Netherlands are you watching from? Don't tell me you're watching from Wageningen, because I have a friend in Wageningen. Ichie Ben Onwuka. That is another living legend from our channel. Ichie Ben Onwuka, I always salute. Naleto. Naleto. Ichie Ibem. Another living legend. Hard work pays wherever you are. Bagam, I believe you. And no matter, okay, Den Haag. Yeah, Den Haag. Now, well, I know on a day the city where no grey jail all these nonsense people where they make all of us people they run away from the country. Okay. Watching from Flensburg, Justin Ekeka. Can you confirm if that Motorola plant is still active in Flensburg? Do you still have it in Flensburg? I don't know. It's probably over 18 years. Watching from Rotterdam, UK. Rotterdam. Man, I don't say Rotterdam. Whether Rotterdam relocate to go UK, as you know, one day. Okay. Okay, you don't take exam to wash dishes in Germany, but in Finland, I guess. No, I don't. I think he meant he didn't mean that literally. You know what he meant was the Germans would always ask you Bescheinigung certificate. Everything must be bescheinigt. Too common to cut hair. There is one guy. Anyway, there is nothing they can do now. I can say it. There is one guy in Bremen that time. One of the where we go cut our hair. The guy is so perfect. But the Germans said he must have a Frisur Bescheinigung. He must have what's it called? Barbing certificate to touch people's hair. From us, Africa, I say, wait, which kind of one be this one now? So we arranged the Bescheinigung for him. See, the funny thing with Germans is, if you go buy bread, that time they sell bread, not now they wrap bread with all this. That time they put pepper. If they bring bread, they go put pepper. That time they don't print on the polythenes. So that time, even if you go bring that bread pepper, give a German, say this is the Bescheinigung, this is the certificate, they will take it. But it's only once they will now go and verify it, because they will go and verify, So this guy was cutting. Now, and because this is a practical society, so the people from the amt that controls how to barb hair now came and said, okay, this guy must prove that he can barb. I said, maybe black people in the barb. Now the guy, we sit down. The guy come cut hair, even write name for back. Kai. The German look and said, Kai, das ist wunderbar. Wunderbar. Sehr gut gemacht. Das ist schön aus. Now so there, they now come write their own Bescheinigung, their own certificate. See, their own certificate now come superimpose the other one. The other one will be saying na street, na printer do am. The other one come makes no difference. So you have to now laminate the other one, put it on the wall. Anybody comes in, freeze up the shine on it, you go to look and there. So you see, that's how to survive 101. Hmm? How to survive 101. Ist schon geschlossen seit. Scheiße. See, that place I told you guys, they said that the Motorola it's closed. But there is one thing, in as much as the Germans want Beschleunigung, the only thing you can understand with them is, when they come to build for you, you watch a German lay tiles. You feel like if you come to Nigeria, you just pack every tiler put them into a pit and close the lid. You see precision. You see the reason why they go and study how to do tiles. They call it house building, training. You do it for 3 years. But man, if you see the handwork, you see door, somebody hang, a human being hang door. You see paint, a human being, not this one, our own. People, they be like when they go drink Igbo and the kai finish, they go and they paint. Somebody will be painting. The hand will be going like this. You go like this. You go paint. You will be painting. You see your ceiling white, yellow. Where you paint for wall, go meet the other. You go leave them like that. You know, go even clean them. Sometimes if you ever built a house in Nigeria and see what they do, you feel like it's sometimes just throwing somebody from the veranda to the floor, because you ask yourself, how on earth did this person get to even walk in the site at all? Even when they go do block, you go just stay like this, they look block. Nah. So if we have to survive beyond the current madness, because it's pure madness, do you know why we go to Togo to bring people to work? It's because Togo is still using the French system that makes that, if you want to become a mason, if you want to become a bricklayer, if you want, I know when I did one of my projects in the village, the guys that plastered the house came from Togo. But once they finished, people would ask you, hey, this house doesn't need to be even painted at all, because you see the precision. But call my own village people, my own brothers, all trowel. You come. You see, isn't the person a mad person? You would first of all, if the person had any sense, you first of all plaster the decking before you plaster wall. But here, the idiot will plaster wall before he plasters decking. In a bid to throw the cement to the decking, all the walls will be littered with cement and the cucumber will finish, go home without bothering to remove it, either with anything, trowel, even wash it out to look smooth. And he will go and he'll say, oh God, come and pay me money. Somebody will do tiles. The tiles in your own bedroom won't even remove your nail in your own bedroom, and that person is a human being. Do painting, Olo. Everybody's in a hurry. The other day I saw a picture yesterday. Because the thing is it's getting worse by day. I saw a video yesterday, a picture yesterday. APGA party. APGA. They draw APGA, they draw cock, hen. They draw one. And they draw Ojukwu. The teller put it upside down. Now tell me, if na me, they give that cloth, why I no go strangle that person? When I buried my brother, when they did the material for the burial, I asked the guy, use the material and do face. When the guy brought the face mask, you know, paper aeroplane. The face mask be like paper aeroplane. That is the, if you put them for your nose, it be like a padded bra. I'm not gonna die. Oh dear. And the worst part, the guy say, oh God, I could give him 1,000 for the face. I look at, I don't know if I'm, because I'm angry with the face mask, it's not usable. You put time, be like say you cut, you just do that. You know that if you see Adams Oshomola, that in suit will be like na carpenter so. Be like say you just go cut the shoulder part, put rubber, just tie them for this thing. Because even if COVID-19 they fly, you see that kind of face mask, you will come back. Come because it makes no sense that you even wore face mask and he was still charging. Oh dear. So it's not about poor training. There is absolutely no training. That's the thing. You get somebody to learn a trade, and 6 months they say, "Oh, no, they are fine. They can do it." You can't do nothing. So why I'm saying this is someone here who said that Germans need certificate for everything. It's because for 6 months they may be telling you only thing you'll be learning is about measurement. Because that is the core of anything you do. Measurement. Measurement is at the heart of anything you do. James says you need a 6 months course to get a cell to drive 16-wheeler. It's a talk of 16-wheeler. Common to drive car. Do you know there are people in the UK and in Germany, women, 5 years they've been doing driver's license, they haven't gotten it. They haven't. Because you get to a point the person becomes so nervous. But again, I tell you this. If you get an European license, my dear, pat yourself in the back. That's when you become a human being. Your brain probably is working. And if you are someone that tells yourself the truth, you will now realize that before, while you were driving in Nigeria, that you were a total idiot. You never knew how to drive. You will now realize that while you were driving in Nigeria, that in fact, that Holy Ghost was the one probably holding your steering. Because you'll be driving. Nobody knows what is called right of way. All you need is somebody, you press your horn. That's all. Everybody driving like a madman. You know, sometimes, I've said it here before, I'm in Enugu, coming from Chima, heading to, coming from Chima Avenue, heading to, what's it called, towards Government House, Independent Lab. And there is light. I'm coming. It says yellow, red. I stop, put my gear on neutral, waiting, listening to music. The next thing, bah, on my car, I look. Somebody say waka. And I'm like, what have I done? He drove away. So they are now questioning me why I should stop 8:30 at night on a traffic light. When the traffic light stopped, the one coming that will now go towards Ogui Road is moving. When it's my turn, it will go. Then you begin to understand why entirely madness. The same thing, even the Abuja you see all those big thieves, all the plutocrats. You go to Abuja, it's the same madness. You see light, red, all this useless green, they all be zooming like there is no tomorrow. So how can you? Where are you in a hurry? It's one thing I have tried explaining and teaching my siblings. But, now they've seen it. Now people understand why I drive myself, why I do not have a driver. Because everybody drives like an idiot. Sorry, but, you drive me, it's like you just clinging to the... Why are we in a hurry? Somebody is trying to be too fast. My dear, listen, if you apply your brake, couple of seconds, that person goes. It goes your way. You go your own. Why must you, you say, hey, why would you want enter? You Okada, I give you chance, please enter. Come out, go your way. The traffic flows better. We have a long way to go. Very, very long way to go. Very, very long way to go. Same in America. No, Oyinimo, in America, it's not everywhere. There are some areas it will show you if red you can, but there are some crossings that if red you dare not, even if no traffic. In Germany, it's the same thing. There are some, if you're turning right, for instance, that if there is at night, if there is no this you allow, and there is a file that they will also show you, you can always say, Maz, I'm not answering call. Sorry, did you call me? No, you didn't call me. Which number did you call? Oh, sorry. Please, I'm deeply sorry. I didn't know that the call came. You can try me again. Sorry about that. Sorry. You can call me back. Okay, hold on. Let me call you back because you called me multiple times. Now you're watching me. Who is that? That's Rufus Ford TV. Is that Rufus? Is that Rufus speaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Rufus. Good evening or morning.
Good evening. What you're saying about the what's it called? The driving in Nigeria, like you've said it. Everybody there, just mad people everywhere.
It's crazy. It's a total.
Imagine, I don't know if you've been to Aba before. If you've gone to Aba before, once the police or the traffic warden gets off the road by, let's say, 3 or 4, no, let's say 5. On a 4-way lane, somebody coming from this way, let's say that place they call it Brass Junction. So somebody coming from, it's a 4-way lane where just applying brake, just 1 second, come, first goes. You know how we do it here on a stop sign. Even when the traffic light is messed up, everybody, you apply the thing as a stop sign. First come, you stop, the other person goes, and all that. And you look at it, nobody is there, nobody is honking, no nothing. Everything is like, where you are playing draft. But in Nigeria, you'll be amazed that even when you're on your, when you're trying to make a U-turn, you see somebody coming from a far right, and that person will hit on your car. That is what you see. It's craziness. And even some people in the road safety and all that, they don't even know what they are doing.
No, they don't. They don't know.
I tell you something. I was driving from Lagos to the east. I had a Toyota Sienna 2006. I had a mattress that I bought from over here. So I was able to tie the thing on top of the because he has a carrier. So on getting to Benin bypass, they flagged me down. I stopped. You know what these people said? They said I have overload. I was carrying overload.
Okay, overload. How did you put it on top of the car or what?
Yes, I put it on top of the car and tied it. The rope that I tied it very well. That way it's not flying.
But hold on. You broke the law there.
No, I did not because let me finish. So when they said mobile court, I was waiting for the magistrate. So when the magistrate came, the magistrate asked them, how many people are we inside the Sienna? They said, only me. The woman told them, there is no way they can charge me for overload because that it has carrier on top of the the Sienna.
Okay, it has a ski carrier, right?
Yes.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, when I was telling those guys, you people are wasting your time. I go school. I told them I'm not all these drivers that you people just come. And then I'm ready to wait for the magistrate, even if it means me going back to where I'm coming from till tomorrow. I don't care, but I need to get something done. And at the end of the day, everybody was looking at me like, I told them, you can't be doing such thing. And tomorrow you want your kids to get a better Nigeria. You can't be doing such thing. So a lot of things. And if it's only in Nigeria that people will be drinking, will drink almost 1 carton of beer and be driving. And nothing happens, no consequences.
No, you're talking.
Driving.
Listen, you're talking of. Let me tell you this. You're talking of driver drinking. What if the police officer sees you have cartons of drink in your car? They open it. They are begging you, Oga, give us one bottle of Hennessy now, please. Would they beg? Would they stand for road? At some point, because your heart is not made of stone. I give you an example. I have, I'm going from Enugu as usual. I go with my palm wine, and I have it at the back of the seat, on the floor. And the guy stopped me, one down, greeted him. He looked at it and he saw the palm wine, blowing language, anyhow. And the guy saw Lagor's water, Ever water that I have already consumed in front seat. They say, Oga, please. The guy almost knelt down. See, this son, please put for this thing for us. At some point, your heart is not made of gold, of stone. I had to calm down, cut one of them and start using the other one as funnel to put some for that, man. And again, the moment you leave, they're going to drink it. Woe betide someone who will come 45 1 hour later, when in high spirits, maybe accidental discharge or whatever.
Yeah. Over here, I've never seen a police officer even. You can't do it. If you do it, your other officers will even mess you up. You can't do it. Sanity. When there's one ticket that I got, like maybe just a day before I traveled back to Nigeria. So, what they say is they call it on a stop sign. They call it California Road. That way, what I did was I came to the stop, but I didn't fully stop. You know how when you match your brake, it stops. But I stopped, but I let the car roll. That's how I got a ticket worth almost 200,000 naira in Nigerian naira.
But he told you there. See, the thing is, their owner is that they will show you. Do you know in Lagos, one of the worst places you ever drive your car is Shomolu local government. Shomolu has a lot of one way. You see, if any day I'll go to that side, I'll go with Uber. because it's one place I can never know where to go and you will not be caught. Because
Yes.
they will go and remove the one way at least. Because if you know how to drive, at least you know how to read signs. You know what those signs are.
Yes.
If you see it, of course you won't enter. But here, nothing. You're just driving. Someone says, "No, here is one way." And again, in a one-way street, you see how the cars are only facing one direction.
Yes.
In one-way street, cars don't face opposite direction.
Yeah, it goes one direction.
But in Nigeria, you see one way. Everybody parks like a mad person.
It's crazy. Even in Nigeria, I don't nobody's enforcing the traffic laws and all that. That is the reason why even when you come from Nigeria and come over here to the States, if you don't know how to drive, it's hard. It's very, very hard. One, you have to pass the what's it called, the computer base.
Of course, now.
And you come through behind the wheels. Behind the wheels. Maazi, I'm telling you, ever since I came to the States, nobody drives me. And nobody drives me. I drive myself.
You can't even afford for somebody to drive you.
Nobody drives me. I drive myself. You know why? Because if I'm driving, every few seconds, I'm watching my surroundings, my whole mirror. And that thing has saved me a lot of time from somebody hitting me from behind. Or
even you hitting somebody.
Yes. I'm always scanning the road, scanning, looking at your everything, So Nigeria, we need, there's a lot of things that needs to be done in Nigeria.
Exactly.
It's only in Nigeria that somebody that, that don't even know how to, what is called a clutch or whatever, goes and get a driver's license without nothing, It's crazy. The traffic laws in Nigeria things has to change. We can't be in this 18th century, and the more people are growing, like let's say somebody that is 10 years old, by the time he gets to like maybe in the next 8 years, he's already an adult, and before you know what's happening, he grows up in the same manner, and before you know what's happened, craziness keep evolving. People, traffic laws has to be, things has to change when it comes to traffic laws, because if we are not enforcing it and all that, people dying, a lot of things, people drive cars that are not, over here, you can never drive a car that you don't small, you go do inspection, brakes, all those things. But in Nigeria, not is the authentic Israel.
In German they call them TÜV. You need your car every 2 years to be checked. In England, the MOT, it has to be done every year. They go check your brake, tire, whatever. If it's not roadworthy, they fail. And
there are no compromise.
No
compromise at all.
Exactly. So. And these are things Nigerians don't understand. You see someone, because when you hear that, somebody's driving a car in Nigeria and they say car fail brake. When I hear that, and it tells me something. It tells me of someone who is so careless, not taking, the cars, the attention is not taken, or that you're using a quack and a very wicked and a quack mechanic. A friend of mine was actually driving on Oshodi Apapa Expressway. The front tire run after went off and was running in front. Now that could have killed anyone.
Yes.
The savior was that the front tire was the left side, and he hit that cement, the demarcate, and thank goodness he didn't go to the other side to meet a coming car. Now what happened? The guy that changed tires forgot to put back the nut properly. Now no one.
If you do that one here, you are fired.
Exactly. So now, now only thing you hear is we thank God for life. We thank God nothing happened. You thank God you thank God, you thank God. No consequences. I mean, that's why we pray. When we travel, we pray. We'll cover the tire. We'll cover the engine. We'll cover the alternator. We'll cover the steering. We'll cover the everything. Cover. The blood never finished by the time we finish the cover.
All this prayer that we keep saying in Nigeria, we'll cover the road with it. If it's human being, the blood, God, since all this while they've been praying, the thing but don't finish. Over here, you don't even remember, as a human being, you just pray once you get out of your bed.
Listen, I ask anyone that lives abroad, that lives in the diaspora, could you remember the last time you opened the bonnet of your car?
No.
To check what? And exactly, I asked, to check what? Is it your freaking business to go check your oil, check your dipstick, check this? What for?
No.
As long as you go for regular checks, you come in your wiper, they fill it up, your this, they fill it up, your this. So why do you have to go open bonnet and look? But in Nigeria, every morning, I haven't done it. And the last time, one of my brothers was like, "Why is it that every morning you wake up, you just go start your car and go?" And I'm like, "Is it my freaking business to go open my car?" You understand? Because if you do the right thing, service the car, even if the car has an issue, of course, that's what the dashboard is there. In the dashboard, it has to show me the level of my water, the level of my oil. So why do I have to go open the bonnet? Am I looking for any snake in there?
It has every indication, like the oil light, battery, and all that. So Maazi is dealing with Nigeria. And we don't know where to start because let's say you're dealing with traffic offense right now. You put signs, stop signs, and all that. It will still be a problem. It will still be a problem because people are used to, it's only in Nigeria that a road will be constructed without road demarcations.
Look at what this guy is saying. Ifeanyi Joshua says, "I have seen a driver using water as brake fluid in Nigeria."
Oh my goodness!
Jesus Christ! How would that work?
How would that one work, man?
Olaruwaju says, "No one pays for Johnny Mercy abroad. You pay for it through your tax." Point.
Yes.
Point. Because someone has to make sure that the road is fine. That's why you pay for it. In Nigeria, we also pray for part of prayer point is, "God, please let there be light."
Yes, let there be light. Let the people looking for us don't find us. When there's so many things in Nigeria where people, it's crazy when people come back home and they've not visited Nigeria in a long time. They tend to run mad. You see them going nuts. You'll be driving, you see somebody, overtake you, stop, then make exit.
Exactly. And most times, even somebody is overtaking you from the wrong side.
Yes, left and right. I've been driving one time. Somebody, will tell you, "Oh, guys, shift now, shift. This road is not your dad that built this road. Shift."
I think a couple of months back, I was driving on the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. This is the new road being done by the Buhari administration. And by the way, I must use the opportunity to say they are doing a fantastic job. The quality of work, the earthwork is amazing.
I think it's by Arab contractors.
I can't remember the name again, but amazing job being done, right? And you look a clear road, both lanes now open. And suddenly on speed lane, overtaking a car, look at this trailer coming opposite direction, and you ask yourself, Jesus Christ. Imagine most times, I don't know, many cars, not cruise control, self-drive.
Yeah.
Unless the time the car will make, like every couple of minutes, it will let you touch the steering. But if not, the car drives on its own. If a car is in front, it stops, it slows down on its own, and it goes again.
Yeah.
You know, and when you see something like this, like you think and the guy was also speeding.
Hey.
So people can easily lose their lives, and all these things, no consequences. That's the thing. That's
no consequences, because if it happens, the person will run away. Then maybe the organ of the person will come, pay the people whatever. Once the person is buried, they say, "Okay, leave him now. God know everything." Now God know why this thing.
And God took.
And God has taken.
As if God
in
is
America. In America, here you drive one way. First, you are going to cause a devastating accident, and at the end of the day, if you survive
the punishment, your license.
The kind of punishment. Maazi, I tell you one other thing. One time I saw, when I first moved to the States, so one time I saw a man, blowing into one tube like that before the car can start. I was curious. Then I had to ask, when I went to Department of Motor, they call it here Department of Motor DMV. So they told me, even it's written on your anytime you do your registration, they write it there. Drink and lose your license. That's what they tell you on your registration. Once you pay for your registration, that's what you get. So that they tell you, they warn you early. This one is not like a beg. There's no please there. So they will install that what's it called, the device where if you've had DUI, like driving under influence, one time, before you can drive a car ever again, they will install that thing. Before you drive in the morning, you blow the car, your breath. Once there is no alcohol, nothing on your breath, inside your breath, the car will start. And
that must have been done by the insurance company.
Yes, they do that thing. They install not insurance. People that install it, you come to this highway patrol, they will install it. You understand what I mean? Because almost every accident, almost everywhere is highway now. So they will install it and you pay for it. You understand what I mean? Then your insurance will insist that they see it, inspect it as well before they give you insurance to drive. By the time alone you go through all these things, it's going to take you like $10,000, which is about 5 million naira. So you don't want to drink and drive. I can't remember the last time I even had a bottle of beer. Once in a while, you just drink it. So all these consequences. Do you know that here in the US, a policeman can have pity on you without you not wearing your seatbelt or even having your cell phone or overspeeding? But once he perceives any smell of alcohol, okay, you are going from there down to jail that night. There is no mercy, and your car will be towed.
Anyway,
so these things are things that needs to be done. So that people start having accountability when they do something. But if we don't do all these things, people will be drinking and killing each other. Blaming it on one Maazi in the village.
It's always easy to blame an uncle in the village, a man who has retired and is vulnerable, and one idiot that has done, has drank small stout with Moet, with Hennessy, will now blame it on a man who is quiet in the village, and everybody will say, "I'm talking about." And again, and one of the worst things that happened, and the tragedy I have seen here in Nigeria, the tragedy is and it's very heartbreaking, is that no state in Nigeria observes zebra crossing.
Hey,
hold on. At Adeniro Ogunsoya in Lagos, I had the misfortune to drive, and that's, I think, the last time I drove in Lagos. Now everything is Uber Bolt. Uber Bolt is even easier. Uber Bolt and Okada, because there are areas, the way I move in Lagos, there are areas just Okada it, cross the other side, Bolt it, right?
Yes.
Now, you see zebra crossing. You see, the people, the citizens, that's the tragedy I'm trying to explain to us. The citizens don't know what it is.
Yes.
The Okada riders don't know what it is. They just see paint on the road. The motorists don't know what it is. I came to a zebra crossing in front of Adero Gusoya, in front of Airtel. Stopped. People crossing, going into Airtel. The next thing I heard was somebody was about to hit me. Zebra crossing.
That's
zebra crossing.
I will not even try to use the zebra crossing when it comes to Nigeria.
No, but hold on. I know, but why is it there? And you see, you know the funny thing. You go before USC, the next zebra crossing, the zebra crossing, they painted it, and it jammed the demarcator in the road, so it didn't even make it to be accessible. That you just that, and I'm like, so if you are trying to cross, you have to now climb over the demarcator in the middle. I mean, why do we, even the workers that did that, everybody's just mad, pure madness everywhere, just like cuckoo people. Really?
Yes. Maazi, the thing is this, there is no education. That is it. A lot of people don't know, like I said, a lot of people, we need something like, re-evaluation of people's, bring your life, any distant traffic offense.
But you don't blame people. I remember when I I remember when I got my first license. You see, these are things that's why I said, who no go, no go. When I first got my license, honestly, I got my license because I started driving my daddy's car, and they called this guy that they say he works with the license office. He came in. Do you know my license? My driver's license says I am 1 meter 94. It took me many, protests, when I eventually knew these things were, the data was wrong, my blood group was wrong, my height was wrong, but in trying to change it, and everybody's telling me, why does it bother? I say, but it's not me. I'm looking at myself. I am 180, 186, that's a 6 foot whatever. And you're telling me 196 is like 7 foot what? Only me? I'm not that tall. Yes, I'm 186. That's but not 194. The blood group is off. Everything. So you see, and these things were done wrong. My name, actually, my first name was spelled wrong. Man, even when you try changing it, they ask me, they can't change it. I have to do another new one in order to correct. I said, but why can't you just, at the end of the day, in order to correct it, I had to do a brand new one so that I could correct the mistakes made on my driver's license.
Yes, those are the things that you can never try out here. And even the thing is this, you can't over here. It's a no-no. It's a no-no. You go, you take your the first time I did it, I rushed the paperwork until I know everything. I went there and I messed up.
Thank you very much. Some of the comments here are cracking me up. Thank you. I'll take some of the comments. Thank you, my brother. Bye. Thank you. Let me take some of your comments before we call it a day. I have from James here. James says, my Niger license was a receipt. Listen, I think I had that as well. I had the pink receipt, saying that I paid. I had to go and laminate. Nah, madness, madness. I had to go and laminate the receipt. That was it. Just say I paid. Police stop me. Hey, Chineke God, Nigeria is supposed to be wiped from. We're not supposed to be a country. We just use eraser. Just wipe it. Say, make we just clean and make we start afresh. Because everything is kaput. When I say kaput, hmm? Tony Back says, Maazi, what's the way out? The way out is we got to start afresh. Wallahi, we got to start afresh. But you see, the challenge is, these are federal agencies. The challenge here is that even the states, the ones that they ought to do, they're not even doing it. I want to renew my license in Anambra, and I was told that this time around, for me to renew my license, I need to now have Anambra tax. Is it tax code or tax identification or whatever? I was told to register it. I said, okay, I can. But the guy said I can do it for 1,000. So I don't know, somehow they need to flex just to give you the thing. Waiting at use tax, this thing they do. But again, they've been told that anybody that comes to do this thing, that they have to take it from them. So the state is not even functioning. Honestly, the only place that I see a glimpse of hope is Lagos State. In the midst of all the madness, Lagos State is the only state. Lagos State is the only state. There are things you do. Camera, you get, camera will pick you up. But I don't know. I do not know how the enforcement happens because, though every car has, the proper, do anything that's properly registered now. You have your address, but I don't know how the enforcement happens if they're going to come and take the car from your house or whatever. The bottom line is that the way out is that we need to start from somewhere. Either we have a total kaput of the whole system, or we go back to the level of states and start enforcement and education and re-education, retraining. Multiple things ought to happen. But the thing is, if things begin to happen, Nigerians actually they obey laws. If you take, for instance, the things El-Rufai was able to do while he was the FCT minister, imagine that you had a system that was cascaded from that level and sustained. By that, since that time to now, some level of sanity and semblance. Because when El-Rufai was FCT minister, Abuja became clean. A lot of illegal structures. When some people disagree, but at the end of the day, these are things because when people keep doing things, the wrong way for over a long time, it becomes so messy. But one thing that the Nigerian leaders must take away from the conversations this evening is that it comes to a point the citizens can no longer wait because the world is moving ahead. Why is it that everybody in Nigeria, for instance, likes, roadside mechanic, the quacks? You tell somebody you want to buy a Mercedes. No, don't buy a Mercedes. No, there is no mechanic because everybody likes quacks. Why don't you buy your Mercedes and go give them to the right people to use diagnostics to, do your normal oil change, use the right oil. If it's 10, 30 or whatever, you use the right oil. People like me that like diesel cars, we've import modern diesel cars. Our own diesel is so kaput that you can't even put it in a Euro 6 engine. It knocks your engine straight away. That's no two ways about it. You can't even. So there is, but we have to start somewhere because others are leaving us behind. Ghana is making some little progress. Well, Ghana is small. What's it called? Rwanda is making some little progress. But we, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cameroon, man, let's say we are the bottom of the world. You know, we know they even try at all at all. Don't even go. Even funny enough, even countries like Niger, as poor as they are, they have better controlled system than we do have. Even Chad, as poor as they have better controlled system. Our own is that we are all law breakers from A to Z. All of us, we are all law breakers. We are all law breakers. You import a car, you know this car, you're supposed to pay 4.8 million, but you and custom go sort it out, you pay 1.8, 2 million. Now you on your way to the east, you think the customs are stupid because they know you're still going to use the car and go to the east, and they know you should change the government. They wait for you. You see where you're now negotiating for your car because the value of this car is 15, 20 million. Now they say, okay, right here, we see them now. This car was 4.9, but you just paid 1.8, 2 million. Okay, give us 300,000. Now that 300,000 is not being accounted for. And it can only happen on your way down to the east. When you're coming back to Lagos, who cares? Nobody stops you. So, you know, again, the bottom line is that there is rule of law in Nigeria. There is rule of law in Nigeria. What is the greatest problem is that there is no enforcement of those rules and those laws. Absolutely no enforcement. And that's why sometimes the people from diaspora, when they come home, they behave, that's why sometimes it's easy for people to notice that you are from the diaspora because everything, everything for you is like, are these people normal? But you can overcome that. I'm giving you a secret. The only way you can overcome it and even become Agbero like themselves is when you begin to come home regularly. I tell you, try it. Come home so often. You come, somebody say, you know where you now if I slap you, you go to open eye. Because what did they go talk, what did they go tell you don't know? Before they don't finish, you know how level be. You go they honk like a madman too. I was driving with my sister's kids a couple of years ago. They came down from the United States, right? I didn't know. I visited them, I think about 2 years ago, and these kids we are talking. I was driving in America. Now I'm the one driving, and one of them said, "Uncle, you drive different in America." I said, "What? What do you mean?" He said, "But that time we were driving in Nigeria, you were honking all the time." I said, "You not understand. If I don't honk in Nigeria like a madman, if I don't join them in honking, I will knock down an Okada because somewhat." Maybe the weather blocks people's brain and ear that sometimes only that horn that can bring them down. Because if not, honestly, you see people crossing the road as if now their papa get them. It's only when you horn that they will just kind of wake up and start running. You see that? But I don't know. Maybe our water. Sometimes I don't. Honestly, these are things that worry me. Sometimes I think about these things. That, I'm kind of thinking, when can we come back to sanity? Because what we have now is totally madness. Total madness. How much will it take? How much will be the ticket to Anambra from UK, UAK? We don't know. I'm not an airline now, but if Anambra Airport starts, when Anambra Airport starts, I maybe there might, depending on the airline, we might see a price variation of $50, $100 or £100 between Lagos. But for me, even if it's £200 variation to fly from London to Anambra to Enugu, as opposed to landing in Abuja or Lagos, of course I pay because you know that road, that Biniore, the road filled with demon, the road that Buhari could not finish, the road that Yaradua could, the road that Passenger could not finish, the road that Yaradua couldn't and Jonathan couldn't finish, and Buhari came and said PDP we are thieves, that he was going to finish now 6 years, getting to 8 years. Buhari, that road, don't shut them up as well. Now the same person goes to Castina and trekking. I said, don't worry, una go leave Castina, begin go trek on that road very soon. Nigeria is not, it's not normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. Rufus say if you're chasing a madman, you're also mad. But not too easy now. Oh, people, it's, So I believe these broadcasts this evening, at least, we've touched about our lives, the people in the diaspora, what our brothers and sisters at home can do to help them, and what they can also do. What you can also do to help yourself. All these, because especially many of you in the diaspora, I tell you this, many of you in the diaspora think, man, Nigeria is like, phew. I don't know, you people have this impression that, man, if, they are just like people are being raped at every corner. They are this, everything, if you put your head, everybody chop your head off. Listen, if you come back here, say people, they get good time. You get your time. You get money. You think you come back, they kidnap. Go see that. You don't get money. Boys, they go Cubana grill, sit down, shop, commot card, pay 3 million, 5 million. If you add your ticket and how much you spend for 2 months, you go reach 3 million. You don't get money. But I mean, that's been real. But you come home, you stay, and this hype, and that's what I keep. What I'm not saying is there is crime happening. That crime can happen in London. In London, people are being stabbed. It doesn't mean that people don't go to London or that we no longer have kids in London. In America, they shoot people, they do this, they do this. But that doesn't mean, like anytime I land in America, I take car from Elvis, I'm a preferred partner. Take my ready car result, pick them from the airport, drive myself. I have not been shot. I don't know anybody being shot, but we still see pictures of people being shot. There is crime happening. But this notion, sometimes that's the area I don't like entirely about social media. Because it's always easy for, they are killing us, they are raping women, men. Yes, crime does happen, but people will not be like this. Make we know they too scare people where they see. Even now, they say non gunmen, on gun no men, on gun, whatever they gun themselves. Come on in the evening, you come to Toscana. Is it this places? Even in the villages now, you did this evening. Now music, big speakers, go they blast. In fact, you go just, if you leave your phone, forget internet. You don't go even remember all those nonsense. Not only when we enter WhatsApp, sometimes, to be honest with you, it's only when we go in WhatsApp and Facebook, we begin, this one, they killed this person here, they killed the other person there, they do this. Some real, some imagined. But here, if I have no reason not to tell us the truth. I have no reason. The bottom line is that things are not, most times, as bad. I don't want to say the media, but the social media. especially in the South. Why we may rely on the things we hear from the media in the North is because I don't have any interest in going to the North. Make I go casting, I go tell you, say, I wasn't going to go casting, I go do. I have no business there. Oh, Kaduna, whether they kidnap or they kidnap, I no one come. But if you're talking about Lagos, if you're talking about Ibadan, if you're talking about Port Harcourt, Anambra, Owerri, Enugu, Ebi, Benue, I say then I go to somehow they pay attention. Not be then Cubana go bury their mom, begin use money, do this thing, but yet to see how peaceful everywhere was. There is crime, even criminals, they shock grace because they know say if you dress well, get better beers, shave them very well, wear better clothes, you come, they put you for VIP as well. You follow them, drink Jack Daniels. You can follow them, drink Jack Daniels, All you need to do is baff up, tell Okada, make you stop you before the church so that you go come the trek, you go they do your leg as if to say you just park your car or your driver just, if you want key level finish, just make sure somebody follow you. Let them carry this bag, we be saying money that they put on. Just put the bag like this. Anything no there inside, even if the paper you cut, put, just carry on like that. Just so you bath. You go to work and they go think, man, see money. They don't say if they push you down. Nah, your keke transport money. They fit come for your pocket. Oh dear people, I've enjoyed myself this evening. Peter Chukwu Eloka is watching from Japan. I know this is your morning now. Peter Chukwu Eloka. A normal man in a crazy world is the madman. Yes, you're correct. We have to employ the services of both our clerics, law enforcement agency, Nollywood media. I think, you see, the challenge is that the clerics themselves don't know. The clerics don't know. Because for some reason, even the Anglican and with the exception of Methodists, every other person has gone bonkers, including Anglican and Catholics. Everything is now monetized. When Catholics start taking tithe, now we say water down pass Gary. So every other thing, somebody said here, man, my dream is actually to have a nation that I can be in Ibadan and decide to go to my village. A drive that will take me 4.5 hours, and now is after 1. I go. Many times when I'm in London, I stay in London. It's like 8 o'clock. If I leave to drive, I'll meet traffic. I wait, I stay, relax. It gets up to maybe 11, 12. Enter the motorway. Because at that point, everywhere is clear. The lights most times are all green. A journey that would have taken me 2 hours will take me like an hour, 15 minutes. Less petrol consumption. You have a smooth ride. The same thing happens. Imagine you can be where you are in Germany. You say, okay, I want to go from Kiel to Hanover. You leave 12 o'clock. The whole autobahn is just empty. Salala, suddenly walala. You drive. It's the only time sometimes if it's within the week you see heavy trucks. That's all. But if not, but they have their lane. You just keep going. So, I don't know, maybe before we die, maybe we will, collectively as a people, we will get to build that society where, I might want to leave Lagos by 11, 12 midnight and just want to go home at Ibadan. Or where I want to leave Benue or Abuja and go back to Kaduna by 1 p.m. without having that fear that somebody will come. Have you ever, you looking at it now, have you ever been driving, maybe driving in Michigan or Washington or anywhere? You're driving in all these belts, and have you ever even for once occurred to you, oh, somebody coming out from the book, say, hey, stop there, because it doesn't. Is it driving in M4 in the United Kingdom or the M9 or M6 or whatever, or is it the Autobahn A1 and A9 or whatever? Have you ever been driving? Has it ever crossed your mind for once? Oh, that somebody could come out and say stop there. That is when a society works. That is when, but this one, can you even from Enugu to Okigwe, it's only a straight road. Can you do that without almost peeing on your trouser, just watching every time? But if it's here, I know many times your one is on a German motorway. All you need, this is not even like Mercedes is called Geartronic. All you need is just put your thing, put it on. You say, I'm going to be driving 120, put it on. The car is automatic. The car drives itself. Another car comes in front, your car slows down because all the sensors are working. The first time you immerse yourself in the music you're listening to, you can be driving and derive joy from driving and enjoy your life. This life is not two. But in Nigeria, when you hit motorway, not only gospel music you could play because you are praying, you're covering, you're fortifying, you're puncturing your tires, your engine. Hey, wow. Why they create us like now people will go to suffer with be self? Hmm? Yes, or even sometimes some people will say that they knock the car engine, and I'm like, who knock car engine? Please come and knock my own car because look, Mercedes give me another one. Which car? You can't be talking that kind of rubbish. See they knock car engine, spiritual engine knocker. Please, I will pay you. Send me your number. If you know how to knock car engine, send me I want to make trouble. So that I can go and take brand new car. I drive it 3 months. Come and knock it engine. Even knock the gearbox to myself. So I will make trouble so that they will give me upgrade, say free of charge. If I had taken a GLE coupe, so let them now give me MLC. Give you a better upgrade, brand new one, Tierra. It's only when you go buy Akbukaku that, like someone said here, where you use water for brake fluid. That's only when such nonsense, you hear that engine knock. You think engine knocks in vain? You think you can be just driving car, engine just knock and says, wow, nah. It will show you on the dashboard. It will show you stop engine, stop off the car. That's what it will tell you. It's only when you ignore all the signs. If it's overheating or whatever, it will show you see the temperature rise. It's only when you ignore all these things. You see, there is a lot of things ignorance is too. I remember once when we had when we still had these toll gates in Enugu on its expressway. Customs were stopping these guys going to Wakari. We were, when we used to go with 504, after loading at up worker, this guy, they were stopping, he couldn't. He just when I think back to that, I say, How did we even survive? So customs fired two shots. Eventually, the car came to a halt. And when they in anger they pulled out the driver, gave him a punch, and he was begging. He said that the car failed brake. He failed. They should come and test it. They should come. Uh-uh. So we were there, and the custom man opened the door, pressed the brake, and the brake just went flat. He now said, "Okay, I can see he failed brake." Blah blah blah. So when I now think back, I'm like, having driven car for so many years, what could make a car just, unless you are maybe there might be some mechanical fault, if your brake fluid pipe or whatever cuts, yes, if the fluid drops. But if not, if everything should function the way they should function, what would on earth would make a car, because it's only in Nigeria that I hear that a car failed brake. A car, not a truck. You match your brake. Is it that your brake pad is eating so bad that is now metal to metal? Or somebody help me, because it's a pothole. I tell you, some of you won't make heaven. It's a pothole. So pothole can make you. Michael Odenibo says we are the flip side of creation. I tell you, we are indeed the false. We are, listen. We are the bottom echelon of this creation. We are the bottom echelon. Hmm? Self-driving car will never work in Nigeria. No, it's not. No, no. What I'm saying, it's not self-driven car. It's semi, like Volvo. Like my ML has it. Geatronic is not entirely self-driven, but what it is that when you set it up, I say I want to drive 120, the car will be moving. If any car comes in, because bear in mind, it has what's it called? This is a side. If a car is coming too close to the car, it will blink yellow in the mirror, in the side mirror, right? So because you set it to certain speed, so if the road is clear, the car will accelerate. You understand? Now, and there is a lane departure. If, let's say, you kind of fell asleep and it goes across to the other lane, the moment it hits that white marking, it vibrates the car to wake you up, right? Both the steering, boom, boom, is what it does to wake you up. Now, on Enugu, one of the times I was going from Enugu to Port Harcourt, and I made a video and I said, now, wow. So if you bring these cars to Nigeria, or if these cars are driving on this road in Nigeria, the cars will be confused because there is no lane marking. So you can go from lane 2, 3, 4, even go jam somebody. The car wouldn't know because there is nothing telling the car that you've departed a lane. Many people don't know the essence of lane marking, not only to guide you, but also to guide the car you are driving. Lane departure. If you depart your lane, the car alerts you that you're departing this lane, that you should come back to your lane. And the beauty is that if it vibrates, if you're departing lane, it vibrates, you do nothing. It will brake. That car will brake and stop. Because it has happened to me one time, my mistake, because I was changing lane without trafficating. Because when you put your trafficator, it disables that lane departure. As long as the trafficator is on, it disables it. So, but if you want to move from one lane to the other without trafficator, so it doesn't know, it will think you are asleep or whatever. And if it does that thing, if you don't either brake or touch your trafficator, the next thing the car will do is to brake. Now, tell me how these things people do, and we buy these things. Anybody that has any ML from 2014 upwards has this. Many of them are standard. If you have Mercedes ML 2014 upwards, your car has what I'm talking about. But it cannot work in Nigeria because you don't have lane marking. You don't. If you have full option, it does. But you're basically spending your money, 15, 20 million, buying these cars. You're freaking not enjoying a single thing. Your sat nav doesn't work. But these are, when you hear full option, these are things. The only thing Nigeria enjoys, they say they use their sat nav as rear view camera. That's all. Put your sat nav, use your command. Listen, many of you that have cars with iCar player, use your voice. Okay, it's only now that you have iCar player that once it's connected to your phone, it picks the data from the iPhone. That's the only time you can begin to enjoy it if you have iCar player. So you can touch it and say, Siri, take me home, go command Siri, I want to go to Ikeja. It uses your phone data, brings it up and pushes it back to your dashboard. If not, you're basically paying for nothing. And, just because the country you're in does not allow you enjoy anything, And again, they don't build these things for us. So we go spend our money for nothing. Of course, you still control the car, though, yes. I don't, I think some cars call them different. I think Volvo, Volvo had one of their directors actually knocked down when they were trying to test this. I think Mercedes call it, I think it's called a Triptronic. Is it? Triptronic. Sorry. Not Volvo. Mercedes calls it Triptronic. I don't know what Volvo calls it. But that I know Volvo SC90 from 2015 has it as well. You still control the car, people. Yes, I think, James says, oh, you mean adaptive cruise control is more than cruise. Cruise control doesn't accelerate. Cruise control is if you say 80, you need to now, reduce and increase. If you touch your brake, it deactivates. Cruise control is different. Cruise control doesn't accelerate, but this one accelerates, on its own, brakes if a car comes close. Okay, it's not self-driven as well. The German code, I think, is a Triptronic. People, so it's been nice, guys. The Hangout today, it must come to an end. Maazi also has to go to bed. It's been nice talking to everyone. Ola Rewaju, thank you very much for being there. Namdi Igwe Maduka, thank you. James. Franco Koye. Michael Odenibo. Jarek. Uju Rose. Peter Chukwueloka. All of you. It's nice having you. Tony back. Onyenimo. I think Onyenimo has gone to bed. Olaruwaju Ibrahim. Yeah, many of you, if I don't mention your name, do not be angry, but I can only see those that have put in some messages here. Chris, thank you guys for being part of this stream, but I believe we must probably have learned one or two things, speaking to one another. As they say in the Holy Book, they say that iron sharpeneth iron. At the end of the day, my takeaway for us is that we'll keep talking, keep having civil conversations, and we move away from unverified news because it creates unnecessary tensions and give people heart attack because those in the diaspora will think their parents can't even go anywhere and everybody is being raped in one corner of the street or the other. Why crime do happen and crime happen anywhere and everywhere in the world? world, things are not as bad as the media paints it. I cannot tell us that enough. Is one thing I cannot tell us enough, that that's not true. You know, it's easy. Some of my brothers, it's easy to say, oh, they are killing us, they are raping us, they are doing this, they are this. Well, why crime do happen? It is not as bad as sometimes my brothers and sisters in the diaspora make it to be. And the cure to that is simple. Please come home at least once a year. Because if you do, you begin to realize and you see things differently. On that note, oh, Obi Okeke, thank you very much. Murphy Chooks, thank you. On that note, I'll say good night, everybody. It's been good morning now. It's been my pleasure to have kept you awake. But before you leave, please kindly do me a favor, share and like this stream. If for all the years and time you've been listening to me, you haven't subscribed to this channel, then I ask you, what are you waiting for? Give your life. Give your life to this channel by clicking. If I say give your life to Christ now, some of you begin arguing. Give your life to this channel by clicking and subscribing on Facebook, and stay away from trouble. Stop making trouble. Stop making trouble. Do not on everything anybody says, you people go there and be fighting. So let's fight less and show more love. Love, they say, conquereth all things. On that note, I am still Maazi Ezeoke.